Hey to second form Latin people, welcome back. We are getting very, very close to the end of the book. We are on lesson 25. So just like every week, pause the video if you haven't already done it. Go get your student book and your workbook. Bring them back. Get a pen or a pencil and bring them back. Okay, I'm assuming you've done that. We have been working on the passive system. Remember, or passive voice. Passive, remember, means that the subject is having something done to it. So instead of saying, I ate the cookies, I would say the cookies are eaten by me, which seems like kind of an odd way of phrasing it, I suppose, in that case. But sometimes we might use the passive when we don't know who's doing it, or we want to emphasize the thing it was done to. The snake bit Joe, but we say, Joe was bitten by a snake, and it really emphasizes Joe's plight that way when we use the passive voice. So we've learned the passive system in the first conjugation and the second conjugation, just in the present tenses, okay? We are not going to be, before I lie to you, see if we're going to be learning the perfect system. I can't remember. We are not learning the passive in the perfect system. You're off the hook. Only present system. First of all, let's do some review. I want to start out by just out loud together doing all our declension endings. We don't want to forget them. All right, we've worked hard on those last year, and there's not a lot of review of that in this book, so let's do them all. First declension. A, arum, is, as, is. What gender? Almost all feminine, except for our natural gender, farmer, poet, sailor. Second declension. Us, o, eorum, is, as, is. What gender? Masculine. Second declension neuter. What gender? Neuter. O, orum, is, a, is. Third declension. What gender? You gotta learn them. X, is, ema, s, ibus, s, ibus. Fourth declension. What gender? Masculine, except for two of them. Do you remember? House and hand. Domus, manus. Us, ui, u. Us, ibus, us, ibus. Fifth declension. What gender? Feminine, except for, drum roll, do you remember? Day, ds. S, aem, a, s, arum, abus, s, abus. Good. All right. Let's do, you know what? Instead of writing them out on the board, let's just do them out loud together. Let's do Porto. We're going to do every single active tense of Porto. Okay, present tense. Porto, portas, portat. Portamus, portatus, portant. Imperfect. Portabam, portabas, portabat. Portabamus, portabatus, portabant. It means was or were. Future. Portabo, portabis, portabit, portabimus, portabitus, portabunt. And I'll just do the I will carry. Okay, now the perfect system. Portavi, portavisti, portavit, portavimus, portavistus, portaverunt. I have carried, or I did carry, or just I carried. Pluperfect. Portaveram, portaveras, portaverat, portaveramus, portaveratus, portaverant. I had carried. Future perfect. Portavero, portaveris, portaverit, portaverimus, portaveritus, portaverint. I will have carried. Okay, now you've learned this also in the passive. Let's do the passive present. Portor, portaris, portator, portamer, portamini, portanter. I am carried. You are carried. Now, if you're still kind of unsure about these, go back in your student book. You can follow along. That was lesson 22. Okay. Let's do the imperfect and the future. This is lesson 23. Let's do imperfect. Portabar, portabaris, portabater, portabomber, portabomini, portabanter. Okay. I was carried. Future, passive. Portabor, portabaris, portabiter, portabimmer, portabimini, portabunter. I will be carried. Okay, does that make sense? I hope you're catching on to that it's making sense for you, that you're getting used to conjugating those. We also have learned to do second conjugation, which works exactly the same way. Now, today in this lesson, we're going to learn third conjugation. And if you remember, third and fourth conjugations do some kind of weird things. Okay, so they give you rego. What I'd first like to do is conjugate rego in just normal active voice. Do you remember how rego conjugates in the present tense? Rego, regis, regit, regimus, regitus, regunt. Okay, present tense. Let's do imperfect. Regebam, regebas, regebat, regebamus, regebatus, regebant. Future. Do you remember? It's an old maid. Bringing that tired old joke out. It has no bows in its future. The stem vowel changes, but it doesn't use bow this bit. Regam, reges, reget, regemus, regetus, regent. Remember, it turns into an E in the future. Now, as you might expect, this is also going to affect doing the passive voice with rego. All right, so please get your student books out and turn to page 74. This is lesson 25, okay? And you will see, when you look at the future, there's a change. But let's highlight what's the same. Rister, mer, mini, unter. All right, and notice that we have the regor, and we have eris. Eris is different, isn't it? In amo, it was amaris. All right, that's something different. Regor, regeris, regitur, regimmer, regimini, regunter. Okay, so think about, here, let me write it on the whiteboard for you to compare. Rego, regimus, regitus, regunt. Okay, this is what it normally looks like in the present tense. Now, compare that to what's in your book. We have or, then eris, but then iter, immer, imini, unter. Right. So this one is very strange. And of course the imini, that one's just, that's weird anyway, but it's the same as in first and second conjugation. Our stem vowel changes. It's like bor, beris, bitter, bimmer, bimini, bunter. Like that beris, where it changes. Okay, so keep in mind, this is what it looks like in active. Look in your book to compare passive. All right, now let's write it out in the imperfect. Regebam, Regebas, nothing weird here. Regebat, Regebamus, Regebatus, Regebant. All right, and if you will look at the new lesson, lesson 25, you will see that it just becomes bar, baris, batter, bammer, bamity, banter. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not on the screen. So no real changes there. Nothing particularly odd. But now let's write out rego in the future, okay? Normal active. Regam, reges, reget, regemus, regetus, regent. All right? Remember that? It turns into an E. It's easy to confuse with second conjugation. You have to know that rego is third, right? So compare that to our regar, regeris, regeter, regemer, regemini, regenter. Notice we have that same E stem vowel. So if you know how to do the future tense in the active voice, you should be able to do it in the passive voice. There's no tremendous surprises there, okay? The biggest surprise of the whole thing is probably that turning into eris. So I would advise you to do this over and over and over again. Pick a verb. Remember in the back of your student book, they have all the different conjugations completely conjugated out for you. In fact, they have them, if I'm not mistaken, in active and passive. Oh, my teacher book doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, they have active, indicative. Yes, they do. In the back of your book, they have passive of all 4 conjugations and third IOs as well. All right, and they're translated out for you at the bottom. So please make use of that. Since I can't be there drilling you over and over and over again on them, please pick a verb and just say, I'm going to take this one verb and I'm going to do a verb synopsis today. Or I'm going to conjugate it all out, all 6 tenses in the active voice and the 3 tenses I know in the passive voice, and then check myself in the back of the book. This will pay off tremendous dividends if you're continuing in Latin. Okay, you will be glad that you did this. You will be glad you learned this. All right, so keep doing it over and over and over again. Let's go ahead. I do have some sentences for you. Actually, let's go back and do the verb drill. Turn back to page 73 with me in your book. We're going to go through at the bottom of page 73 where it says oral drill. We're going to do both sides. Okay, let's see how well we do. I'm not going to write them on the board. I think we can work them out together. Videter. Okay. Video means see, and ter is passive. By the way, they're all passive, so I'm not going to just say they're passive. It's passive over and over again. This is practice in all of our passive forms, okay? It's present tense. Ter is he, she, or it. He, she, or it is seen. Not he, she, or it sees. Is seen. Prohibenter. Prohibio means prevent. Enter, it's present tense, means they. They are prevented. Remember, it's happening to them. Terrior. Terrio means frighten, or is the I. It's present tense. I am frightened. So actually it means exactly the same thing as timeo means in the active. Teneris. Teneo means hold. It's present tense. And ris is you, rister. You are held. Monemer. Monio means worn. It's present tense. Mer is we. We are warned. Ube bunter. Ubio means order. Bunter, it's future. And the nter is they. They will be ordered. Tereberus. All right. Terio means frighten. Berus is bor, berus, bitter. It's the future. And it's you. You will be frightened. Vide bomber. Video means see. Bomber is imperfect. And it's the we. We were being seen, or we were seen. Move banter. Movio means move. Banter is imperfect, and the nter means they. They were being moved, or they were moved. Okay, let's see if we can do the other column now, and let's try to build them in Latin. Okay, I am held. First of all, we need to know what means hold. Tenio. I am. It's present tense. I. Tenior. Tenior. We are ordered. Ubio means order. We are, it's present tense. Ubemer. Ubemer. They are warned. Monio means warn. They are, it's present tense. Monenter. Monenter. You are seen. Video means see. You are, that's present tense. Ris. Videris. You all are held. Tenio means hold. You all are, that's present tense. So I need tene mini. Tene mini. You all are held. It will be frightened. Terio means frighten. It will be, that's future. So I need bor, berus, bitter. Tere bitter. They will be moved. Movio means move. It's future, will be. So we need bor, berus, bitter, bimmer, bimini, bunter for they. Move, bunter. I'm sorry about the phone. I'm just going to let the machine take it. Sorry if it's distracting you. She is moved. Movio means move. She is. That's present tense. So we need ris ter. Moveter. We were being taught. Docio means teach. We were. That's imperfect. We need bar, baris, batter, bammer. We were being taught. Doke, bammer. I will be ordered. Ubio means order. Will be, that's future. I will be. Bor, berus, bitter. The I is bor. Ube, bor. So you see, if you just take it one step at a time, what's the verb in Latin? What tense do I need? What are my tense endings? Is it I, you, or he, she, or it, or we, you, all, or they? You can build these pretty easily. Practice is key, okay? Practice is key. I think now we will do some sentences before we look at our new vocabulary, because it's my favorite part. Okay, here we go. By the way, if As always, if any of this is difficult, if you missed anything in the previous lesson and you're not sure why you missed it, please call me and ask. Likewise, if there's anything in this lesson, if I don't explain it adequately here and you need to explain it in a different way, call me and I will do my best to explain it in a different way. All right, and we will go over more examples together. I'm glad to do that. So I'm just here. Give me a call, except apparently maybe somebody just did and I didn't answer. Maybe if I don't answer, I'm taping a lecture, but I have caller ID. Anyway, you can also leave a message if you call and you want help, and if I've stepped out, if I've gone for a walk or something, I'll call you back as soon as I get your message. Okay, let's look at my sentences. I don't feel as strongly as that my sentences are as good this time, but we will try them. Okay, they're kind of shorter than usual. I don't know, I feel like I'm running out of ideas. Okay, milites scuta portabant. We will start with our verb as we always do. Porto means carry. Bomba spot is imperfect, and it's they. They were carrying. What could be the they? What could be a subject? Actually, this has an ending that could be nominative plural, and this has an ending that could be nominative plural because it's neuter. Well, these are soldiers and these are shields. Do we think the soldiers are carrying the shields or the shields were carrying the soldiers? Ooh, that reminds me of the Spartans, where the Spartan mothers were supposed to say, "Come back with your shield or on it." If the shields were carrying the soldiers, it means they're all dead and someone else is carrying them back. I hope that's not true. I meant it to be the soldiers were carrying shields. Technically, I can't tell you the other way is wrong, except that usually the subject comes before the direct object in a Latin sentence. So we're going to hope they're all alive and carrying their shields and not being carried on the shields. Let's turn it into passive. The shields were carried, portabanter, okay, by soldiers. Are soldiers alive? Apparently these are, if they're carrying the shields and not being carried on them. So we use a or ab with the genitive. The shields were carried by soldiers. This is called the ablative of agent. If you remember, a living thing is doing it. Okay, let's try another sentence. Frater cultro vulnerator. Ooh. Vulnerator, sorry. Okay. Vulnero. What is oh, this is getting, okay, I need to scoot over just a tad. All right, here we go. What does vulnero mean? Wound. Okay, vulnero means wound, and we have present tense, passive. It's he, she, or it is wounded. What could be the he, she, or it? What could be the subject? Well, frater has to be a subject. That's the only form it can be if it's frater. So the brother. The brother is wounded. Now we have a word just sitting here, and it's got an ablative ending. Knife. The brother is wounded by the knife. Are knives living things? No, they are not. So in this case, the knife did it. This is our ablative of means. We could say the brother is wounded by means of a knife. But we don't have to say by means of. We can just say by a knife. So see the difference? If a living agent is doing it, we use the a or ab. If it's a thing, an inanimate thing, we don't use the a or ab. We just put it into the ablative case. All right. Liber discipuli de barbaris. What's my verb? Eravit. Okay, let's start with the verb, arrow. Arrow means err or wander. Let's use err in this sentence. Make a mistake, err. All right. I see the third principal part, so it must be one of the perfect tenses. And it's got the I, ist, it endings. So it's he, she, or it erred, or has erred. All right. What could be the he, she, or it? The only thing I see that's singular that could be a subject is liber, book. The book erred. Now, I have two things I need to do something with. Let's tackle de barbaris. De means about or concerning. About what? About the foreigners, the barbarians. The book erred about the barbarians. It gave them bad information, wrong information. So we only have one thing left to deal with. We remember us, e, o, e, orum, is, os, is. So it can only be this or this. And it can't be this because we have a subject. So it must be this. It must be genitive of the student. The book of the student, or the student's book, erred about the barbarians. I don't know what it said that was wrong. I didn't go that far. Okay, I've got a couple more. Cur, populus, ex opido, in campum, fugiet. Right, this gives us all sorts of practice. Start with the verb. Fugio. Fugio means flee. And it has a stem vowel of E in there, so it must be future. Remember, if it were present tense, it would just be fugit. But it's fugiet, so it's future. No bows in its future. He, she, or it will flee. All right. Who do you think's doing the fleeing? We need something that can be a subject. Well, the only thing that fills the bill is people. Why will the people flee? See, I had to use will as my helping verb because it's future. Why will the people flee out of the town into the field? Now, why did I say into instead of just in? Do you remember? Because when in is with the accusative case, it means into. And I've used the accusative case. If I wanted it to mean in, I'd have to write in campo. All right, one more. Servabuntne, lupi, años. Okay, we know that ne means it's a question, but now we're just going to ignore that for the time being, and we're just going to translate. So the verb is servabunt. Servo means preserve or guard against, save or guard. Guard or keep, I guess it says in your book, but okay. Let's use guard. Vobis bit, bimus bitus bunt, it's future. They will guard. What could be the they? What could be a subject? Well, this is the only thing with a plural subject ending. Wolves. The wolves will guard. What are they guarding? Lambs. The wolves will guard the lambs. Now we have to turn it into a question. Will the wolves guard the lambs? The answer is no. The wolves will not guard the lambs. The wolves will eat the lambs, but you don't know the word for eat yet. Sorry, Edo, by the way, if you want to know. But okay, let's take a look at your new words. You do have some new words. However, hooray! Second declension neuter, all the way down. Excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing. Before we move on to the vocabulary, go to page 75. You may have noticed something that I forgot to point out. The present tense you form is eris, regeris, and the future is regeris. Notice, go back over to page 74. Look in the present tense box. Do you see the little accent mark over the E, the first E? Regeris, regeris. Now go over to the future tense box, and you see there isn't one. Regeris, regeris. Now, go to page 75. Look over there. Do you see how they have those two words written? Regeris, and they've got a guide to pronouncing. They're saying you might want to say regeris, present tense, with more emph on the first syllable, regeris, and future tense, regeris. But notice that in this book, they're going to use that to distinguish between present tense and future tense, because that is the only way to distinguish them. Okay, so beware of that. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. Okay, let's look at your new words now. Brachium means arm. You know, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing Brachiosaurus, you know, is like a long neck. And I'm thinking because its neck is long like an arm. This is just me speculating that that's why it's called Brachiosaurus. Your brachium is your arm, like in anatomy lingo. Folium is pretty easy. Leaf, like foliage. Or a folio is a book, like old-fashioned manuscript book, and the pages are like leaves of the book. Frumentum is grain or corn. And there's no good derivative for this. For some reason, I always think of if you ferment the grain, it turns into, I don't know, beer or whiskey. That's a real healthy thing to dwell on. But it makes me remember that frumentum, because it sounds like ferment. Gaudium. Now this should be easy. Gaudio means I rejoice. Gaudium is joy. It's the noun. Peccatum is sin. We also know debitum as sin or a debt. And this is another word for sin. This is more like a sin or a mistake. The other is a sin or a debt. Peccadillo, I don't know if you've ever heard that word. It's like a little quirk that you have that's something not positive. Premium. Premium is a reward. So premium, like, not insurance premiums, because there's no reward for that. Premium can have the connotation in English of being some sort of gift, or valuing something highly. Proilium means battle. That you just have to learn. There's really no good derivative for that. Saeculum. In secula, seculorum, into ages or ages, into ages of ages, translated world without end. Secular. Secular means having to do with this age, not having to do with eternity, but having to do this time now. Temporal, mundane, that sort of thing. That's what secular means. Signum. Signum is the easiest word to learn in this list because it means sign. It came into English practically unchanged. And studium. Studium, now this is interesting because studium means not only study, like it looks like it would, but it also means zeal or enthusiasm. Have you ever thought about that? If you want to study something, your studies, whatever you're studying, you want to go at it with zeal, with enthusiasm. You be zealous and enthusiastic about your Latin study. It makes things easier. Isn't it easier to learn things that you care about, that you are enthusiastic about learning, that you want to learn? Now, maybe you don't want to be learning Latin. Maybe your parents told you you had to, but you might as well enjoy it. You might as well go at it with, I've got to do this, and by golly, I'm going to put as much enthusiasm and energy into it as possible. Which brings us to our saying of the week, repetitio mater studiorum. Repetition is the mother of learning, of your studies, but it's also maybe the mother of enthusiasm. The more you repeat your principal parts, your declension endings, the easier they get. And the easier they get, the more enthusiasm you can bring to your study, because you're not always having to look something up, right? The better your vocabulary knowledge is, the more enthusiastic you are about your Latin study, because it's not such a slog. It's not drudgery, and you don't have to look up every word, all right? Repetitio mater studiorum. Repetition is the mother of learning. That's what I've told you all along, right? Repeat, repeat, repeat. Review, 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 over and over and over, until it becomes second nature for you. Right? That is all there is on lesson 25. Let's go to our workbooks now and see if there is anything in lesson 25 that seems odd, or if I want to do any of the grammar and word study questions. We are not going to do the word study questions. So you can just cross out 1 through 5 there. But, you can say aloud and write 3 times the saying that repetition is the mother of learning. You will repeat it 3 times. That seems very appropriate. We are going to be doing a lot of writing out endings, active and passive endings, of course, because repetition is the mother of learning. I'm having trouble turning this page. Here, I need to put it down. Okay. Pages 161 and 162. Everything's very normal. Ooh, you have lots of translation practice on page 164. Lots of sentences, and they are using ablative of means. They told you flat out they're using ablative of means, because that's the title of it. Translation skills, ablative of means. So in every one of these sentences, you are going to find a noun in the ablative case with no preposition, and it means by or by means of. That is all, except, once again, it has this in my teacher's book, so I'm assuming it's at the end of your workbook. It says, on a separate piece of paper, conjugate jungo, struo, and traho in the present system, active and passive. Notice it says present system, okay? They're not asking you for the perfect tenses, just the tenses that you know now in both active and passive. Do it. In fact, you should do more verbs than that. You should do one of these every day. Get a piece of paper, pick a verb, conjugate it out. You can check yourself in the back of your book, where I told you it has all your verbs conjugated out, including in the passive, and them translated. Repetition is the mother of learning. It really is. So you cannot review too much. Unless you stop eating and sleeping, then you're reviewing too much. But if you're still eating and sleeping and getting your other work done, and your mental health is generally good. Oh, why did I get so blurry? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. That previous video, this is going to be part 2 when I post them. I'm not going to do the whole thing over again. I don't know why it got so blurry suddenly. I apologize. I'm not super technically proficient, but I'm doing my best. So we were looking at we were talking about your workbook, that at the back of your workbook, it says, has all the verbs conjugated out for you. So use that and check yourself. Because once again, repetition is the mother of learning. Sorry, this is just going to be a very short little video posted at the end of the other one. I guess I will email that to all of you in your materials for this week. If you have any questions, please ask me, call me. I am here waiting for you. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say when I got all blurry suddenly. I wanted to look ahead. We have one more lesson with new material, and that is it. That is it for the book. I was hoping to play Latin games or do something particularly fun on our final week. If we're not able to meet live, then I might have to change that, but I'll still think of something fun to do. So this week and next week, which as you probably surmise is the fourth conjugation in the passive present. And then we will do some review. And then you finish second form Latin. So congratulations to all of you for that. Keep repeating. Keep being zealous. Sorry about the little technological blip here, but we'll all get through this together. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.